Alright, here is my piece of Proto Putty that I made. I'm expecting it to be actually fairly chemically resistant, but I guess we'll just have to see. So over here, I've got concentrated sulfuric acid, well over 95%. If I had to guess, I'd say closer to 97 to 98, if I had to make just an educated guess. But yep, there's sulfuric acid. I got this jar here. What I'll do is I'll cut this in half. This is actually one of the stoppers I made. As you see, I've hacked away at it to try to get to the right shape because I actually didn't. This is one with the lip on it. I took the lip off because it didn't actually work that well. So I guess we'll just sacrifice this one. So I'll set that aside and cut that in a bit. I'll split it in two. In one half, I'm going to heat up with my torch, see how heat resistant it is. The other half, I'll put into this jar and I'll pour some acid on it and see how it fares. The reason why I'm splitting it in half is because I don't want one of the tests to mess up the other test, right? I want to have as least as many variables as possible. Alright, there it is right in that jar there. Here's the acid, and I'm going to pour her in. So here we go. A bit of acid there. I won't pour in a lot, just enough to get the sides coated. I'm going to stir that up a bit. Goes. I'm not seeing any immediate reaction. Oh, wait a second. No, wait, that's just the side where I cut. Okay, there is no immediate reaction, so I guess we'll just leave it here. See how that does. Actually, better not set that there. I'm gonna recap the acid, and while we were waiting for that, we might as well start the heat test. Okay, here's my piece of Proto Putty I got in a pair of pliers here. What I'll do is I'll turn on my torch and I will just see how well it holds up to heat. So here we go. Might be a bit loud, so I might have to bring down the volume while I edit this video, but visual should be just fine, hopefully. So here we go. Okay, I'll start with a low heat first, well, relatively speaking. All right. And I'll stick her in. Okay, we have contact. Okay, it is charring a bit. Okay. It hasn't started on fire. It is smoking quite a bit, though. Oh, wait. Oh, is that... hasn't lit on fire yet. Oh, wait. Nah. Kind of wants to, I feel like. Oh, wait. Oh, there it goes. It actually smells kind of nice, surprisingly. Although I wouldn't recommend... Oh, nope. Is that on fire? Oh, I think it's on fire. Yeah, that's on fire. Alright. So make sure you don't stick it in propane, at least. Obviously. Well, there you go. That probably isn't very good to breathe in. So I'm actually going to quench that right now. Just stick her in the snow. Have that quench right up. So there you go. So that's what happens when it gets caught on fire. It'll start to char up and then burn up after a while, obviously. You may think that's kind of obvious, but I just wanted to just make sure. You know, I wanted to make sure I wouldn't like do anything crazy, you know, so. But here is the one of the acid. It's actually doing alright. See, this is a test that I'm really interested in, because it, if I have acid in a flask, and this is stopping it from pouring out, I want to make sure it'll last, right, so. I'll just let it sit for a while, and I'll let you know if there's anything that changes. Okay, it's been roughly 20 to 30 minutes since I first put a piece of Proto Putty into the solution of acid, and I have noticed something. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the solution in there has taken on a bit of a pink color, which I don't know exactly what's happening, but it's either the fact that it's just dissolving the food coloring out, or it's dissolving the entire putty itself. Not completely sure what it is yet, but I am noticing that if I put my glass rod here and I stick it into the putty, I can actually scrape away the outside layer of it. And so it's probably dissolving the putty itself. I mean, it has lasted a decent amount of time. This is pretty strong acid. So I guess I'll leave it in there for another half an hour and see what it does. But it's kind of holding up. But I wouldn't trust this for a long period of time. Alright, here is the putty about 20 minutes later, and not much has changed. The color of the acid might have gotten slightly darker, but I'm not completely sure about that. The putty is still intact, although I don't know how well it's holding up molecularly. So I guess the verdict is, if you want to use this to stop up a flask with acid in it, at least sulfuric acid, or with an acid of equal strength, I'd say you're fine for probably quite a while, for a few hours, maybe even a day. But over that, I wouldn't recommend it, because it seems to be doing something to the putty itself, which makes sense. I didn't expect this to be completely fine, but I'm glad it's holding up fairly well, considering it's been in some sulfuric acid. So I'm now gonna dilute this. I'm gonna make sure to dispose of it properly, and see how well the putty works later on. So I guess that's pretty much all I have for today. Yeah, just make sure you're doing it safe. Proto Putty is a very nice material. I'm really glad it's an easy and cheap way of making stoppers. So glad I figured that out, and hopefully these tests have helped you out. So thanks a lot for watching, and look forward to the next video. See you later.